Greetings, Chem 1 students. This is Mr. Braun, and this is the pre-lab video for Experiment 1, endothermic and exothermic reactions. First of all, chemical reactions that release energy are called exothermic reactions. Chemical reactions that absorb energy are called endothermic reactions. In this lab, you're going to work on two different parts, part 1 and part 2. And I look back on videos from last year. This took about 19 minutes to do both part 1 and part 2. So if you are prepared, you will have plenty of time if you get at it and go right from the start of the lab. So you should have plenty of time to do this. In part 1, you are going to take a reaction between citric acid solution and baking soda. In part 2, you are going to react magnesium metal with hydrochloric acid. So when you do both of these, you should see a gas released. In part 1, it's going to be carbon dioxide. In part 2, it's going to be hydrogen gas. We've done this before. It was the one that I did as a demo with the eudiometer. So we have actually mixed magnesium as a solid with hydrochloric acid. Okay, the objectives, okay, is to study an exothermic and endothermic reaction. So it's my guess that part 1 or part 2, one of them will be exothermic, one will be endothermic. Okay, we are going to collect and display data on a graph, and eventually you will be printing off that graph. All right, so the very first part of the procedure, citric acid plus baking soda. If you look back, we're going to have the same or a similar setup that we did on the first one. What I would recommend is to get the utility clamp to hold this into place, okay, when you put it in there. I don't think that the probe has enough weight to knock over that beaker, but let's not try it, okay? So get a utility clamp with the ring stand and put the temperature probe on the utility clamp to hold it, much like we did with the previous lab. So we're going to take the first part, citric acid and baking soda. You're going to follow the directions, weigh it out. You're going to put the baking soda on a piece of weighing paper. You're going to analyze the data here in part 7, and it tells you exactly what to do step by step to analyze the data. When you are finished, these materials that you have left can go straight down into the drain in part 1, okay? In part 2, we are going to take hydrochloric acid and we are going to take magnesium metal. Let me see how concentrated. It doesn't say how concentrated the hydrochloric acid is, but make sure you read the bottle. I don't have these chemicals mixed up yet, so I will have to check. Make sure you read the bottle to see the concentration of hydrochloric acid. Nonetheless, though, you are going to have to manually rescale the graph, okay? So it tells you right here how to manually rescale the graph. To do so, click the mouse on the tick mark and type in 10. What the tick mark is down at the bottom, okay, you're going to have certain values from this value to this value. Click the value and put 10, and on the top mark, click the value and put 40. So you're just manipulating the range of your scale. So you'll need to do that first of all, okay? You're going to put the hydrochloric acid into the styrofoam cup. Then you're going to add a piece of magnesium metal to put in there. Okay, then you're going to watch and see what happens. It says do not breathe the vapors. It's hydrogen gas coming off, so just don't stick your nose into that. But we do not need to do this in the fume hood, okay? We're also going to analyze part 2 of the graph, and then on step 14, it's going to tell you how to get both graphs, how to print both graphs. Okay, so make sure you follow the directions on how to do so. The report page here, you're going to need initial temperatures, final temperatures, and change of temperatures. And you can see we can use those values here to determine which is endothermic, which is exothermic, which is actually our goal for this lab. So once again, we are going to study an endothermic and an exothermic reaction, and we are going to collect data and display that data on a graph. So you should print out a copy of the graph so that you have that when you turn your lab work in. This is Mr. Braun once again, experiment number 1, endothermic and exothermic reactions. Chem 1 students, let's investigate.